You're watching Your View.
Thank you for joining us. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Hey, great friends. It's Friday here on Kaplan and Crew, along with Grande and the Brown Man, broadcasting on the radio airwaves of 1090. Streaming on YouTube, Heart and Soul. Hope everybody's ready for a great weekend. All you YouTubers out there and everybody who's in our YouTube chat. For those of you that will catch up to us tonight on Channel 4 San Diego, Channel 4 Santa Barbara, 118 Palos Verdes, 118 Orange County, part of our Cox Your View network. Happy to have all the TV viewers along. And this weekend, you're out for a walk, you're playing golf, you're exercising, you're driving. Plug us in. Use the audio podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, et cetera, et cetera. So wherever you get your audio podcast. So, guys, yesterday I wasn't here for the majority of the show. But, Alex, You got us started yesterday by talking to us about how annoyed you were with the Padres and with Peter Seidler and this blind trust that they all have in AJ Preller. And while you were on that side, Browner is on the other side, which is this roster's good. It's certainly much better than it performed. It's not a sub 500 roster, even though that's what the results of the season say. And Browner's on the side of, the manager lost the team, and that was the problem with the team. Not the roster itself, but the manager's mismanagement of this roster. So I know we've got these two prevailing opinions out there where you and me, we were on the side of roster's not good enough, and we hate the fact that Peter Seidler just hands over the Padre franchise to AJ Preller. He's had a long time here. He's had different iterations of this Padres roster. They've been to the postseason one time, and it was in the shortened season. And in the greatest expectation season that we've ever had as Padre fans, they fell flat on their face and failed miserably. And by the way, the person they're all scapegoating for it, Jace Tingler, and he's one part of the problem, not the whole problem, but the guy they scapegoated was AJ Preller's second manager. So he keeps going through these terrible managers, and yet he keeps being rewarded by the franchise. So I know I'm on the side of they should have gotten rid of AJ Preller, and I know me and Alex are over here, but the hot take machine.
I gotta.
Okay, jump in. Excuse me.
No. I'm saying no. Real quick, and you keep going. We don't let him pass on Pat Murphy. Don't let him. Don't do two. It's three, because Dave Roberts was there, and he chose Pat Murphy to come up from AAA and take that job. So don't let him slide, because Pat Murphy was a disaster too.
It's a good point. It was three managers. I always just think of it as two, but you're right. But Browner is over here, and Browner's like, the roster's good enough. They've got plenty of talent. It was just mismanaged, and the manager was the problem. And I know that yesterday, as I was sitting in my car talking to you guys, my son was to my right, and he's on the Browner side of all of this. You know, so the thing is go back to what Peter Seidler said. And if you put this up on the screen for everybody, those of you that are listening on radio, Alex can read it to us, but to me, I'm with you. It's so frustrating that they have put so much trust into Preller. And now that they've given him such a long-term contract extension, to fire him and pay him and start over again. I just imagine being in Peter Seidler's head where he's like, why do I want to pay this guy to go away? And why do I want to start all over when we've already bought into his game plan? Alex, if you could, put it back up on the screen. Let's hear what Seidler had to say.
Okay. First of all, I know AJ really well. I know very well, I think, what it takes to be a successful executive in baseball. And I 100% believe in the set of skills he brings to our organization, step by step, going back to when we spent all the money on international teenagers, basically, and decided to really start to more and more build from within. It was AJ's leadership that got us to what we achieved last year. But I see a whole set of skills that I want in that role. And I'm 100% committed to AJ and 100% trust him.
Wow. I mean, listen.
There was also another quote, Scott, later in that
ahead.
Athletic article with Dennis Lin. He said, AJ's job has never been safer.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's true. I suppose it is true. His job's never been safer. When you've got a big contract extension and you've got yourself a really nice title and you're making really big money, to fire the guy and pay him to go away doesn't seem to be a smart financial move. So if you believe that all of the team's success a year ago, he's responsible for all of it, and you gave him this big fat extension and a really nice, comfortable contract, yeah, his job's pretty safe because I don't want to pay him to fire him. I remember when this is many years ago, but when Denny Green was fired by the Arizona Cardinals, and Denny lived here in San Diego, and we became close for a time, and rest in peace, man. But I remember Denny walked out of Arizona with millions and millions and millions of dollars. They paid him to go away. They weren't happy with his coaching anymore. They paid him to go away. The Padres don't want to pay AJ Preller to just go away. That's why his job is so safe. But I'll tell you, man, I disagree with Peter Seidler, and he may be proven right in the future, and I may be proven wrong. But right now, AJ Preller's had a long time, and he has not succeeded other than one shortened season. And if you want to be fair, because all the Padre fans said that, hey, that Dodger championship doesn't count. It was in a shortened season. Well, I guess the Padres' success a year ago doesn't really count. I am not as big a believer in AJ Preller. I'm not as big a believer in this roster. And Browner, I know you are, but we definitely disagree on this.
Well, look, this is something where only thing that is going to answer this question is time. We talked.
Uh-oh.
You can still hear me? I'm just frozen.
Yeah, you froze.
The only thing that will tell the story of this is time. And two, who he hires to be the manager is the next tell, and whether he learned his lesson. And that's the next step. So now we went from fire watch to manager watch. Now we're on manager watch. Let's see who he hires. Because if he hires a third version of the other two stooges, if he hires a third stooge, then now I'm going to have a problem with him. And I said this yesterday, and I will repeat this again. I believe in what he's built with these players, with a couple of tweaks here and there. I think we'll be fine. And in addition to that, who the next move is who he hires as manager, which has to happen soon.
But why would everybody be so caught up in AJ Preller?
And what do you mean?
And well, here's what I mean. Alex brings up the whole Pat Murphy situation. So first, it's Pat Murphy, disaster. When you had Dave Roberts, I'm not going to tell you that Dave Roberts was going to lead the Padres to a World Series. Certainly not before the roster that they currently have.
Right.
But you do see that Dave Roberts is a smart baseball manager. We all got to witness that firsthand this year in the, was it 18 innings or 16 inning game where Dave Roberts outmanaged the pants right off Jace Tingler. So he hired Pat Murphy when he had Dave Roberts. He hired Andy Green, disaster, but we knew that. The roster wasn't very good. He hired Jace Tingler, which turns into a disaster. And the reason it turns into a disaster is not because of the record. It's not because they finished under 500. It's because now the stories are that there was so much turmoil inside the clubhouse and that Tingler was not able to control the clubhouse. But you see, the problem is the players were looking at Preller and they're saying, your manager, your hand-selected manager, the guy that you've groomed for all these years, he's a spy for you. Now we have a problem with you. And so what I'm trying to figure out is why Peter Seidler isn't looking at AJ Preller. Look, I say why. I've already told you why. Because he got a long contract. He's making a lot of money. And if they fire him, they got to pay him all this money to go away. And they don't want to do that. As much as we think of the Padres as now being a team that spends, there's still some cheapness way in the back. Why are we going to pay this guy $5 million to go away?
I also think that Preller needs to take some time to talk to the players and kick the tires on what they may want in a manager. I think that's interesting, too, because now you've got guys who aren't going anywhere. Machado's not going anywhere. Tatis isn't going anywhere. And those are the two faces and probably the voices of your team going forward for the next decade if everything turns out correct. So he probably needs to have a conversation with them about who would they like to see manage the team and take that information, go along with what his information has, and pick a guy.
Who's the Aaron Rodgers of this team?
That's a great question.
Who's the guy that has a problem if they don't ask him who should be the next manager? Like, who do we have a guy like that? That's like, yo, you got to talk to me. You got to talk to me. You got to get the vibe from me.
I would say if I had to put my money on somebody, it would be on Machado. Because I don't think anybody else in that dugout would ever have the guts to stand up to Tatis and to yell at Tatis and bark at Tatis like a big brother.
No chance.
Nobody. So I would say
say prior to this year,
mm-hmm.
it was probably Eric Hosmer.
Oy.
and he played himself out of that role, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I want to hear some of what AJ Preller had to say because I, like you, Alex, was very annoyed by his press conference. And when he talks
Okay.
about
Wait. Why though? Why? Because that was the
because
same. I'm
because
asking you the same
yeah,
question I
because
asked Alex
for
yesterday.
and for the exact same reason that Alex had yesterday, which was this. I don't believe in the roster. I believe in a few small pieces of the roster, but I don't believe in the entire roster. And I do think that at his press conference, he was trying to sell to us that he has the roster.
Okay.
And that it's not the roster's fault, it's the manager's fault for mismanaging the roster or not being able to manage any issues that showed up inside the clubhouse. We'll get to the AJ Preller sound in just 1 second. Before I get there, I want to mention iThriveMD. The website is ithrivemd.com/Kaplan. So yesterday, I spent a good hour on the phone with Dr. Samir Damani and our entire marketing team for this ad campaign. And one of the things we talked about was low testosterone is a big issue for a lot of guys, okay? But there are a variety of services that iThrive MD has to help with your longevity, your wellness, and just your overall health, okay? We've started with testosterone. We'll move into some of the other areas that they can help you with, but testosterone is where we started. One of the things we talked about yesterday with Dr. Damani was, how's it going? You know, like, are the listeners, are the great friends calling? Are they making appointments? Are they coming to visit? And they are. But we're just impatient, right? Now, I told Dr. Damani, give me 90 days and this thing's going to rock. And he's 45 days into it and going, come on, man, come on. So I said, doctor, what would you think if we made a ridiculous offer to our listeners just to get them to go, okay, this is too good. I have to go do this. And let me see how I feel after 3 months of treatment at iThrive MD. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to tease a little bit. On Monday, I'm going to announce a brand new offer from iThrive MD. And it's going to make every guy out there who's thought about it, who's thought, hey, am I sleepy? Am I tired? Is my body muscle mass changing? Am I less interested in the bedroom? Am I suffering from erectile dysfunction? Do I have depression? What's wrong with me? On Monday, I'm going to have a deal for you with iThrive MD that's going to make you say, I've heard about it, I've thought about it, but now the pricing is just so attractive that I must take advantage of this opportunity. So I'm not going to say much more about it. I'm just going to tell you this. You should immediately, I'm going to give you this phone number. You should immediately make an appointment. Make the appointment for a week out, 2 weeks out. And then on Monday, I'm going to announce this brand new deal. And you are going to be the beneficiary of this. It's going to be super inexpensive, but it's going to get you in, show you what they do, show you how good you're going to feel. And then you're going to want to stick around as an iThrive MD patient and client. 858-240-1497. 858-240-1497. 858-240-1497. If you're stuck in traffic right now, put it in your phone. Make an appointment at iThrive MD. This is going to be a total life changer for you fellas. Seriously. ithrivemd.com/Kaplan. ithrivemd.com/Kaplan. Use that website. You're going to see all the great specials we've got for you. And on Monday, I'm going to announce these incredible new deals. So stay with us. We'll see you guys on Monday about that. All right, let's go to AJ Preller, Alex. Let's hear what AJ Preller had to say. And I can certainly tell you why I find what he was saying to be very annoying. I'm with you. So play it.
As important as making sure that we're on the same page, that there's alignment from ownership to the front office to the the coaching staff and to the players, that there's a clear message. And I think I think that that's something that for sure that I need to get better. We need to get better as a group. I think we really had in 2020. I think that was something that we did very well. I think maybe because of the COVID season, I think there was a ton of involvement. I was very involved, and I think there was a lot of involvement really up and down throughout. Staff, players, getting opinions, getting thoughts, trying to make collective decisions on what's best for the group. And maybe a little bit, maybe let the group, maybe felt like the group could run from or could kind of take off from last year. And ultimately, I need to do a better job of getting some people on the same page. And I think that in itself may seem, I think that in itself, I think will lead to some pretty clear, honest messages that should lead to some performance.
I have no idea what he just said.
That's what I told Browner.
I have
yesterday.
no idea what he's talking about. I have to do a better job of getting everybody on the same page. Well, I kind of feel like you've been dictating this entire time. Hey, little manager who's making a small amount of money, who's absolutely desperate to keep this job, and who's so grateful to even have this job because you're not even qualified for it. Here's what you do: you put on the uniform, and then you go tell everybody what I'm telling you. And it seems to me, at least this is just my perception from the outside, it seems to me like the clubhouse revolted against AJ Preller.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Same question I presented to Alex yesterday. You were not here, so I will give you the same opportunity.
Why, thank you.
What would you like to see? Who would you like to see moved off this roster?
Okay, good question. Few people I'd like to see moved off this roster.
Just count
Hosmer,
them out.
Hosmer's
One.
number one.
Mhm.
Definitely would get rid of Hosmer. I
Mhm.
think Hosmer, created a whole problem for this
I
team
agree.
this year. And
I
by the
agree.
way, I blame Preller for that as well.
That's fine.
Okay, Hosmer got to go.
Mhm.
I'd say Will Myers should go. I'm
Okay.
not like, I don't hate Will Myers as a player. It's just that in the shortened season, he was good. Otherwise, he's not that good. You know, he's made a couple of defensive plays
here
here
long
and
enough.
there. You know, he hits a couple of home runs. I could live with Will Myers, but I don't want him on the roster anymore. I've seen enough of Will Myers.
You know what Will Myers is? He's the equivalent to AJ Preller as a player. I've seen enough. You're
Yeah.
just not that good.
Yeah, I mean, you're fine. You're a good player. You're a good
Yeah.
major league ball
Like
player.
he had, like Preller had a good trade into Tatis. Like Will Myers had a good season in a shortened season, and that's it.
Right. I'm good with Will Myers. I've seen him. He's a nice major league ball player. Seen enough.
Bye.
I'd get rid of Tommy Pham. I think Tommy Pham's got a major attitude problem.
Oh, he's
And
gone. He's a free agent.
He's gone.
Right.
Yeah,
I think he's got a major attitude problem, and I think he's all wrong for the clubhouse. So I'd get rid of him.
Okay.
I listen. I would definitely get rid of Chris Paddock, or let me rephrase it. I definitely would try him in a new role. You know,
Okay.
I mean, I don't think there's any reason to keep trotting him out there as a starting pitcher because you've seen what he can do and not do.
That's fair.
Elsewhere around there, listen, I want to keep Cronenworth. I'd
Mhm.
like to see a full season of Frazier, but I'd like to see him consistently in the lineup at the same
Mhm.
position in the batting order and in defense. I'd like to see him consistently in the right places. So there's some examples of guys I want to
Okay,
get
I
rid of.
said
Perfect.
catcher. I said Nola.
Yep, there's another one. I should have thought of
Bye.
that. Yeah.
Which who
Hosmer,
will be there?
bye. Myers, bye. Pham, bye. It's half your roster.
Okay, so Scott, the three of the four people you talked about, because you talked about keeping Paddock but in a different role, that's probably going to happen. Tommy Pham not coming back, probably going to happen. I don't think they're going to be able to get rid of Will Myers for a multitude of reasons, but Eric Hosmer more than likely will not be back. So, of the people who you have a problem with, most of them will more than likely be gone for contractual reasons or moved around just because they didn't perform well. So that when he talks about tweaking the roster, that's what a tweak is. Moving a couple of guys off the roster who didn't perform, bringing in a couple of guys who you hope
That's
will.
an overhaul of your roster.
But you know
You're
what though,
cutting
Browner?
Three
half the
guys?
roster.
Browner, hold on, just one quick second.
I'm listening.
Look, here is the core of the Padres: Manny Machado,
Yes.
Fernando Tatis,
Yes.
Will Myers, Eric Hosmer. That was your core. Was.
I would, but I would
Is.
I would make a couple of changes because of what we saw this season. I would add Cronenworth into that,
Yes,
and I would take
fair.
Hosmer out of that.
No,
now,
but
again,
I'm talking about the money. The money has been spent on those four guys. Can we at least agree on that?
yes.
Okay. Well, two of the four of them you don't want on this team anymore. So
What-
you spent all this money and you gave them long-term contracts,
Mhm.
and you're 50%.
One of them will be gone, and I'm assuming that one will be Eric Hosmer. Again, I don't think they're going to be able to move Myers, but I think they're going to be able to move Eric Hosmer. Now they may have to pay somebody to take him, but nevertheless, he will not be on this roster next year.
You want
And
to
as
hear?
far as Nola goes,
Yeah.
But here's my thing, Browner, with you. Like you keep asking like about like this roster question.
Mhm.
But it's like I think
'Cause-
what it comes down to is I don't trust Preller to bring in the right guys in place of them.
but okay.
That's so it's
we
like
say
okay,
this.
yes, you can change them, and you can ship them out,
Mhm.
but I don't trust him to bring in the right guys.
Okay, we say
because
that.
he brought these guys in.
You say that, but he also brought in the overwhelming amount of people you don't want to get rid of. He also brought in Cronenworth. He
Three
also
guys.
brought in Tatis. He also brought in Machado. He also brought in Grisham. He also brought, well, you don't like Nola. I like Nola. But he also brought in an overwhelming amount of people that you don't want to see move off this
It's not an
roster because they're
overwhelming
good
amount.
Major League Baseball players. He traded for
He
Frazier
paid-
regardless of what we think of him.
Let's throw the facts out there. He gave Hosmer the most money of any team that would give him. He gave
True.
Machado the most money of any team that would give him.
True.
And he traded for Tatis, and he got lucky.
Yeah.
And Cronenworth was a throwaway piece that nobody even talked about in the Tommy Pham trade.
Another lucky piece. So listen, you got I'm with Alex. I know we all disagree on this.
Yes.
I'm with Alex. I don't trust AJ Preller to do two things.
But
one, I don't trust him to hire the right manager. I don't trust him to work with the right manager, even if he hired the right manager. And I don't trust him to rebuild the roster.
How much time we got?
We got 10 seconds.
20 seconds.
Do your thing.
10 seconds.
All right, we're in the 7 Mile Casino Studios. Let's do this. There's been so much talk this week about the Padres. Let's take a look at week 5 around the NFL. We saw the Rams win last night against Seattle. Let's take a look at the rest of the schedule. We're coming right up with the NFL next. We're in the 7 Mile Casino Studios on Kaplan and Crew.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more.
And they're on. Welcome back. Please join us in welcoming the Race and Sports Radio Show back home to 1090. Join host Felix Taverna every Saturday at 9 a.m. for the very best horse racing coverage in all of Southern California. The all-new and mightier 1090.
SDCCU is an engaged community partner. Each year, SDCCU is proud to support many nonprofit organizations throughout Southern California. Our partnerships allow us to help shape the financial lives of many through volunteerism, financial support, and creating public awareness. The result is a big impact on the communities we serve. SDCCU, it's not big bank banking, it's better. Federally insured by NCUA. Find out more at sdccu.com.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community. Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on Your View or stream it online at yourview.com. Join the Walk for Alls at Balboa Park on October 16th. Every dollar raised stays local to help San Diegans with dementia. Register at alzsd.org/walk.
Still on his feet, Jared Williams Swift is in the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcat.
He's in the 40. Is he going to go?
Goes, holds it in. What a catch. Big return left sidelines off to the races. He splits the defender into the end zone. He's got a man. Pass it out. Wildcat. That was pretty.
Game Time High School Football on Your View is brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
Up to 30% of COVID-19 patients become long haulers with persistent symptoms months after the infection.
What I've been finding with my patients is that it's taking up to 3 to 6 months for them to recover their endurance, exercise capacity, and get them back to work or to their usual activities of daily living.
What I wasn't able to do was the basic needs, like brush your teeth, take a shower because of the shortness of breath, the tightness in my chest.
The symptoms that concern me the most, the shortness of breath. So restrictive. You know, you go through and you just take for granted that, you know, you're gonna breathe. And when that gets taken away, it's a scary thought. Unfortunately, I'm 6 months out now from my diagnosis and I'm still suffering from several of the symptoms.
My experience with the patients I've sent to La Mesa Rehab has been extremely positive. The patients come back with good reports, and when I see them in the office, their exercise capacity has improved dramatically.
I'm getting there because of La Mesa Rehab.
Teatro means theater in Spanish, and in Portuguese, and in Tagalog, and in Italian, and in so many languages. We have a lot of communities, a lot of culture here, so that is the reason why teatro is in the name. The mission of Teatro San Diego is to provide arts education to underserved communities, specifically in schools. Our goal is also in tandem with arts education to provide a professional theater company and dance company so that the community can see themselves reflected on stage at the professional level. Places like Subaru have really been so supportive and have helped us come up with projects like the AMI project.
I was so honored to be at an event a few days ago and heard some of the songs from it. These guys rock. This is just an amazing thing that everyone needs to see.
Southern California Radio is a special game, a unique game from the sandy beaches of the Baja and all the way to Santa Barbara. My voice sounds pretty cool. The all-new and mightier 1090.
Let's talk about a scary word, dementia. Getting lost, even in familiar places, is common in people with dementia, and it can be life-threatening. You can reduce the risk by moving keys and shoes away from the front door. Call 911 immediately if someone with memory loss wanders. For free support, contact Alzheimer's San Diego, 858-492-4400 or alzsd.org.
This year, Jobtoberfest is Wednesday, October 13th. It's the largest annual job fair in San Diego County for people with disabilities. Let's hear from one of our major sponsors.
At Marsty, we recognize the value that individuals with disabilities, as well as those in recovery from substance use, can bring to the workforce, especially to those who want to or are currently counseling those with disabilities and substance use disorder. Marsty is proud to partner with Jobtoberfest.
Nothing about the last year was normal, but you weathered it with grace, ingenuity, and creativity. In empty classrooms and full Zooms, you kept it together when we were apart. For all that you are, for all that you do, we salute you. Salute to Teachers is proudly sponsored by these charitable companies.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
Let's take a look at some high school football action going down tonight. Mission Hills is matching up with Rancho Bernardo. Last week, the Grizzlies got the win against Oceanside 31-13, while the Broncos got a dominating 60-7 win against Westview. Player to watch in this one, Rancho Bernardo senior running back Frankie Franchina has 883 rushing yards on 129 carries through 6 games. Scripps Ranch is taking on Morse. The Falcons are off to a 5-0 start, led by junior quarterback Jax Leatherwood, who has nearly 1,500 passing yards and 21 touchdowns on the year with no interceptions. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by YourView.
Still on his feet, Jared Williams. Swift is in the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcat.
He's at the 40. Is he going to go?
Holds it in. What a catch.
Return left sideline. Off to the races.
He splits the defenders into the end zone. He's got a man. Pass out. Wildcat. That was pretty.
Game Time High School Football on YourView is brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
Stadium in San Diego. It has been a sellout the last few days. Loyal SC ready to kick off this season. Stadium in San Diego. Professional soccer has finally arrived.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and YourView, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Great friends, it is a Friday afternoon here on Kaplan and Crew from the 7 Mile Casino Studios. We welcome you back in, all you 1090 radio listeners. Oh, by the way, big announcement. I mean, massive, gigantic, huge, gargantuan, mammoth in size, crazy announcement coming from Bill Hagan, the owner of the Mightier 1090. I can't say what it is, and it won't happen until early January. Maybe he'll make the announcement before then.
You're the worst,
dude.
Come on, man. What are you doing?
Bro, I got the email this morning.
I didn't get it.
And Hagan said, deal is signed, sealed, delivered, done. Everything is done. It's ready to go.
Forward that email to me.
I got an email on Friday, a week ago from today. I landed in Sacramento, and I got an email from Bill Hagan, and I was like, "Oh, so that's happening."
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I felt like a week ago it was happening, and now you're saying it's done.
Done deal.
And we're not going to say till January?
Well, I guess that's when it will actually go on the air, is January. Now, whether or not Bill decides to announce it prior to January, that's a whole other story.
I mean, press releases. What are we announcing on the show? Who's coming on?
Who's coming? That's the
Who's
better
coming
question.
on with us?
Yeah. Well, anyway, listen, all I can tell you guys is
let's get a guy with 3 initials on here.
No, I got somebody. Listen. I got somebody else we will need access to. But again, we can't talk about that till January.
Can't do nothing.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, all I'm going to say is this. I got to give Bill credit yet again. You know, he put this radio station back on the air in August 17th, 2020, in the middle of the pandemic. The radio station has done a great job to survive through the pandemic when we barely even had any sports, and now we're coming out of it. So we're, I don't know, a year and change into 1090 being back on the radio.
We are 281 radio shows in.
Amazing. And so now what'll happen is in early January, when all of these changes take place, it will be a game changer. It really will be in town. So anyway, that's cool. So happy to have all the radio.
Tune in January.
Yeah.
Right
Hey,
here.
I'm sure we'll have the announcement long before then, but I'm just telling you that the changes will take place, So, and Bill will probably call me today and bust my balls and go, "Why are you saying this on the air?"
Well, Bill knows by now to not tell you anything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And if he tells you something, he knows that something's going to be said.
Well, no, you have to tell me this is not for air. If you don't tell me
And
this
you
is
will
not
still
for air,
say it.
no.
Yeah,
You'll still say something.
Something. I will beat around the bush. That's right.
Right.
That's right. But
Right.
I won't say the actual thing.
Large,
When you're done beating around the bush, the bush will
giant.
have no leaves. It'll just be the sticks.
that
You
bush,
beat that bush to death.
dude. That bush is getting a Brazilian, buddy. Let me tell you that right now. That's what that bush is getting.
Brazilian bush.
Yeah, right. So anyway, so look, happy to have all the radio listeners together today. Happy to have all the YouTubers, okay, and all the TV viewers on Cox's Your View network who catch up with us at night. Friday nights, by the way, we're on later on Your View because they do a whole bunch of high school football. So for us, it's great because they have a great lead-in for us. So wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching, glad to have everybody along today. Hey, we were in the middle of this conversation about the Padres. Alex and I don't trust AJ Preller to hire the right manager. We don't trust him to hire or to rebuild the roster. Browner feels the exact opposite. He feels like Preller's the guy. The roster is not that far. And I think this is the debate that's happening all around San Diego with Padres fans. But interestingly, I saw a very short clip of an interview, and I believe this is from a San Francisco television station where they asked Bruce Bochy to come on the air and talk. And so Boch was home and was via Zoom. And so I think many of us are looking at Bruce Bochy as some sort of a savior, which, by the way, is such a crack up to me because you got to remember now, Bruce Bochy managed the Padres for 12 years, but he managed the Giants for 13 years. He's a Hall of Fame manager because of what he did in San Francisco. He is a sports legend and icon in the city of San Francisco. He's beloved in San Diego because he was a player and he was a manager and he was Tony Gwynn's manager and he was the manager of the World Series in '98 and he won a couple of division titles and the Padres haven't won one since. But I cannot even begin to tell you, fellas, I was on the radio back then. People wanted Bochy gone. He's not emotional enough. He's not fiery enough. He doesn't inspire this team. And then Sandy Alderson, unceremoniously at the time, dumped Bruce Bochy. And Boch, of course, went on to San Francisco and won 3 World Series and became a legend. Well, now we all want him back because of what he did in San Francisco. So here's Bruce Bochy in an interview with a television station in San Francisco. Alex, could you play that for everybody?
You know what? I haven't talked to anybody. I'm being honest. I've said, listen, you don't rule out anything, to never say never thing, but I've enjoyed what I've been doing. You have to, I think, listen, maybe if something comes along at some point in time, whether this year, next year, or whatever, but I have not been pursuing anything. I've been spending time with the family, spending time with, helping, hopefully, the Giants, and I've enjoyed it.
All right. See, Bruce Bochy is now a Giant.
Until that check comes from somebody else. Come on now. Come on now.
You know what I'm saying, though? He's a legend in San Francisco. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I agree.
just say
I
this
agree
real
with
quick.
that. I agree with that. Well, that check come big enough. Well, I liked his answer. His answer was basically, if somebody calls me, we can talk.
Mhm.
He didn't say no, because he could have easily like, no, I'm done with that. I'm more focused on the Giants.
No, he looks
didn't say
good,
that.
man. He looks good.
He's
He
ready.
he looks healthy. He looks good. Looks refreshed.
He's got to be looking at Tony La Russa going, him?
Mhm.
Him?
Mhm.
No, somebody hire me. I can fall asleep in the dugout too.
Scott, I said this yesterday when you weren't here, and I think you'll agree with me. At least this year, Browner started blaming Jay Tingler in like April.
Ting Ting.
Ting.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't part of the Tingleberries.
Mm-mm.
And now next year, because Preller's back and because he'll be on manager number 4, there's one person that I'm pointing at all year long. If things go bad, if things go south, things go anything, who are we pointing at?
Yeah, it's all on one guy now.
I will never blame the manager for anything next year. He's got a free ride. He's got to cut the line pass for me, because I'm blaming everything on AJ Preller. Everything.
Okay.
I'm with that all day.
It's going to be hard to blame that. Listen, you give credit for success, you give blame for losses. It's going to be hard to blame credit. It's going to be hard when them wins start stacking up, all right? And y'all outside.
Oh, wait,
looking
it doesn't
in.
matter to me. You know why? Because the
Oh.
baseball season doesn't even start until after the All-Star break next year.
Nope.
Because I
Until
will
August.
not celebrate a whole bunch of wins over the Dodgers in June. Okay, only to be ridiculed on the second half of the
Right.
season when the Dodgers win 9 straight
Yeah,
against
if
you.
I gotta hear, what's the record versus the Dodgers? 7-3. If I gotta hear that for a whole nother season, I'm gonna puke.
Well,
Show me. Don't talk to me. Show me. See, Browner,
What's our
you're
head-to-head record against the Giants? What's our head-to-head against the Dodgers?
Dude, you're all hype, and I'm all about results.
I'll see
it's
y'all
a-
in August.
It's a result-based
you know
business,
what?
Browner.
Hey, you're not invited to the Preller got fired parade.
Oh.
Well, listen, this
You're
is one thing I do
officially
know.
disinvited.
This is one thing I do know. It would be mostly media there. Yeah, because
that
it's all
mean?
y'all. It's all y'all. Ain't the people. It ain't the people.
Oh, the
people with
people
me.
want him
I don't agree. I don't
The
agree with
people
that at
want
all.
him gone now.
I don't
People
agree
with
with that at
me.
all. All right, we should post this on Sided, by the way. We really should. We should post this on Sided. I don't even know what the exact question is, but it's a good place to get people's opinions. I can tell you that right now. All right, listen, let me do this. I want to turn into the NFL, and I want to take a look at week 5 around the NFL. Before I do, I want to remind everybody about Corky's Pest Control, 1-800-901-1102. I got a call from a buddy of mine the other day. He said, hey, listen, I had a pest control company come here. One guy told me we have termites and we got to tent the house. The other guy told me we don't have termites at all. And the other guy's out of his mind. He goes, I was going to call Corky and kind of have Corky come in at the end and give us an estimate, but I need him now. So I called Corky and I said, Cork, I need you to deal with this, So Corky gets on the phone with this friend of mine. And yesterday, the two of them met and they decided, what exactly the game plan was going to be going forward. But here's what I would say to you. If you think you have termites, if you see like what looks like a little sawdust down at the base of your floor, dude, you call Corky right away. Do not mess with this. The sooner you get on this, the sooner this thing is going to get taken care of. Call Corky's Pest Control. Ants, spiders, rodents, termites. You got a problem? Corky has a solution. Now, he likes to give you the phone number, but he tells you on TV all the time now, just Google the one word. That one word is Corky's. Call 1-800-901-1102.
Corky.
Nicely done. Very, very nicely done. All right. Hey, Alex, by the way, before I get into the NFL football stuff, I am curious. Today is Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We talked to Gary Cooper, our man, earlier in the week. I'm curious, how are we progressing? Are we almost to the finish line yet with this house that you're buying?
Well, we're 10 days away from scheduled close.
10 days.
Where are we at? I haven't signed anything today, but yesterday I signed a whole bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I swear I'm being entered into Squid Games. I don't know what I'm signing. But where are we? I think we just released all contingencies.
Mm-hmm.
So we're good. Appraisal came in, inspection came in, HOA came in, everything's good. Everything looking solid. I locked in a homeowner's insurance yesterday, which I think was the final thing, and now we wait.
Okay. Well, as Alex has had all this help from Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty Services and Gary Cooper and his entire team, Koopa Loop, 858-376-1299. I mention it only because, Alex, the first call you make when you actually take possession and you get the keys to the place, the first call you make is to Corky. Make sure he comes out and takes care of everything because now you're a new homeowner thanks to Mountain Trust. And by the way, a couple days ago when we had Gary Cooper on, we talked about nicknames, Koopa Loop, Grande, Brown Man, and one of the great friends got to me on Facebook Instant Messenger and said, "You're forgetting about the greatest nickname that somebody gave to you. Browner gave it to me."
LA Cap.
LA Cap.
There you go.
I know.
You're famous for that now,
I know.
boy. You at these games, they hollering for you. LA Cap.
Yeah, I know.
LA Cap. LA Cap.
I know. Wait till I go to the Charger game on Sunday against the Browns.
FU Cap.
Yeah.
FU Cap.
You'll get a new nickname.
All right, let's turn our attentions to the NFL and week 5. Now, look, last night we all saw the Rams beat the Seahawks. We talked about it a little bit earlier on the show. Does this change your perception? 2 weeks ago, you thought the Rams were the best team in football when they blasted Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Last week, you thought Rams probably aren't that good because they lost a division game at home to Kyler Murray, who we think is good, but come on, man, it's 3rd and 16. You can't let this guy scramble for 16 yards. And there were also other issues like, you're down a lot. It was down by 14 points, and you're going to try and kick a field goal midway through the third quarter when you're going to make it an 11-point lead rather than a 14-point lead. So a coaching mistake along the way. So I think a lot of us were a little worried about the Rams. We saw them last night rebound, and I'm with you, Alex. I'm not so sure that what I saw last night makes me think the Rams are better, but what last night's game definitely makes me think is the Seahawks, they may be out of it. I mean, Browner, your whole idea this year that the Rams are going to finish last place in the NFC West, right now I'm going to have to say Seattle is going to finish last place in the NFC West, and that's a shock.
It's not looking good. That's looking more accurate than the Rams in last.
You ready for the Rams schedule, by the way?
Oh, it's so easy from
at
here.
the Giants versus the Lions, at the Texans, home versus the Titans.
Oh, man, I probably should have looked into that before I said that.
Yeah,
You know what I want to do?
Well, it goes along. It's on brand for your hot take.
Yeah, right. I actually think I'm going to go to the Rams-Lions game. I think
you're going to all the games, huh?
Damn, dog.
Well, I was actually thinking about trying to get us some tickets to go see the Rams-Lions because I figure the Jared Goff game, that's kind of an interesting game. My biggest thing now is, and again, I walked through SoFi Stadium yesterday, and I'm more consumed with it today than I was yesterday. My goal now is to find people that I know that have luxury suites at SoFi Stadium.
Yeah.
Because when I used to go to Qualcomm Stadium when I wasn't working a game, dude, I had my friend who had the #1 suite in all of Qualcomm. It was the Qualcomm suite. Monday Night Football, the Steelers are playing the Chargers. Hey, Snoop's in the house. I mean, it was any celebrity that came to a game came to this luxury suite. So I had access to that at Qualcomm Stadium.
Hey, that's a Vikings bye week. I'm down to go.
I need to find access to a luxury suite inside SoFi Stadium for Rams games.
October 24th, Sunday.
Okay. I want to do that.
That is a Chargers bye week. That is a Vikings bye week. Let's go.
Yeah, Rams-Lions. I want to go. I really do.
1 p.m.
Okay. All right. So listen, let's take a look at what's going on around the NFL week 5. Alex, if you could put it up on the screen, let's take a look at some of these games. I'll throw them at you guys. You guys tell me what you like or if you're going to be participating. The Jets at Atlanta. Atlanta's a 3-point favorite. Jets coming off their first win. I kind of think I want to take the Jets in this game.
Did you say you're going to take the Jets?
Yeah.
Over the Falcons?
Right.
Are you okay? The Falcons we're going to be without Calvin Ridley, and this game's in London.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I forgot that this game is in London.
This game is in London.
Mm-hmm.
It is a, what is it?
6:30?
6:30 in the morning. I don't know. 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, who says London?
London.
Who says that?
I do.
Oh.
Jamie Tart?
I will not be tuning in at 6:30 in the morning. I will be watching the Turkish Grand Prix at that time.
Oh, gotcha.
But you'll be up.
Yeah, I'll be up.
The Turkish Grand
I'll
Prix.
probably DVR that bad boy. It started around 7 or 8.
Grand Prix. You got a problem, man.
Yeah, he loves Grand Prix.
Lewis Hamilton had to do an engine change, so he's got to fall 10 places behind the grid, whatever he qualifies tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
The race is tight between him and Max Verstappen. Tight.
All right, so the Jets play Atlanta. That game's in London. I forgot about that. Tennessee is at Jacksonville. I would normally have zero interest in this game, but come on. Don't we want to see some disaster so that Urban Meyer has to stand up at a press conference and answer questions about?
He's gonna have to do that anyways.
Yeah,
right.
no,
They get rolled.
Right, but when they get rolled and people, Coach, how much do you suppose last week you and the video that surfaced and the girl and your finger, like how much of that you think played into all of this?
Yo, there's so many layers to that story, dude. Man, there is a mural of him and his wife on top of the bar. His wife has a drink named after. Obviously, it's his bar. That's a whole other thing. So he was wearing an Ohio State pullover.
Yep.
His wife and him have a picture, literally giant picture mural over the bar, the main bar. Like what an idiot.
Yep.
And the woman who is in the video, her mom is saying that the daughter's getting death threats, and she now fears for her well-being.
Who's giving death threats to her? Give me a break.
Listen, who knows?
All right, hey,
Twitter's
just a quick reminder, by the way, as we're going through these NFL games, if you love wagering on games, betus.com is the website, betus.com, 1-800-79-BET-US if you need help getting all set up. And of course, if you have a problem, 1-800-GAMBLER. Gambler. But seriously, betus.com is the place to go should you like to make wagers on these games. Denver at Pittsburgh. Now, this is an interesting game because Denver was 3-0 against three teams that were 0-9, and Pittsburgh is they're in a tailspin right now, talking about should they replace Ben Roethlisberger now. That's one I suppose I have a little bit of interest in. Green Bay at Cincinnati, I'm curious about because, I'm a Joe Burrow believer, but I also think that the Packers have, I think week one was like, screw you, Packers management. Since then, Aaron Rodgers like, okay, I'm back. I'm good. I'm back in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Miami at Tampa. I see Gronkowski's out for Tampa again.
Mm-hmm.
Miami's not very good. Detroit at Minnesota. Alex, could Jared Goff get his first win for Detroit at your Vikings?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
New England is at Houston. I mean, Houston's just a complete disaster.
Yeah.
These are some bad games.
Bad games.
These are really bad games.
Yeah,
Saints at Washington.
Mhm.
Yuck.
Yeah, it does nothing for me. Philly at Carolina.
Also gross.
Yeah, I'm curious.
McCaffrey out.
Yeah, but I'm a Darnold fan, and I do have
morning games are
Jalen
terrible.
Hurts.
The
I have Jalen
afternoon
Hurts on
games are great.
my fantasy game, my fantasy team.
I think the afternoon games right here. This is where it gets going.
All right, take us through it. Go ahead.
Bears at Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love
Browner
that game.
says he might be going to Vegas this weekend for this game.
Man, pulling most strings and not even know how to.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you credentials to the game so you don't have to go scalp or buy tickets. Even though I think tickets are available, dude.
Yeah, they're not cheap, bruh.
Yeah, they're very expensive.
Are they really?
Browns.
Why is it that they're so expensive when there's empty seats in that stadium?
People are flying from. I don't think there'll be empty seats on Sunday.
Okay. All right. So Chicago against the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Browns at the Chargers. Let's pick that game real quick. The Chargers played so well in the first half against the Raiders, and then the Raiders defense showed up in the second half. And I think Cleveland's defense is better. I think Baker Mayfield is a more composed and better running quarterback than Carr. I think Cleveland's got the better running game far and away than the Raiders do. And look, even though Cleveland lost in week 1 to Kansas City and the Chargers went to Kansas City and won, and this is going to be a battle of a game. I don't know where to go in this game. Cleveland's a 1.5 favorite. Wow.
That's not a lot.
No, but you're the road team. You're traveling all the way out west.
I'm going to do a reverse juju and go Chargers.
Okay, there you go. Good idea. San Francisco at Arizona. That's interesting. Division game.
Not really.
I don't think Trey Lance
doesn't play. It's not.
I don't believe in Trey Lance. I know people do. I don't. I don't think he's accurate at all. I think the only reason he's looked good is because people trip and he throws 80-yard touchdowns. Like, I don't think he's very good.
Giants at the Cowboys. I think everybody's pretty high on the Cowboys all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. Game of the weekend is Sunday night, right? Kansas City hosting Buffalo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean that is the
big
game.
One.
That's a huge game. I mean, that is a lot of people. Everybody came into the season thinking Kansas City's far and away the best team in the AFC. Buffalo probably 2 or 3 right there. And after the way things have gone for Kansas City, people are really high on Buffalo. And then Monday night,
Kansas City wins this game. I will recrown them.
What if they smoke Buffalo?
Yeah, I will recrown the Chiefs as best team in the AFC if they win this game.
Because look who the Bills have beaten. yes, they've had two teams go scoreless, but one was the Texans, the other one was the Dolphins. Like,
and they lost at home to the Steelers,
who appear to be terrible. So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, they've played well, but they can get blown out.
Monday night, Indianapolis and Baltimore. We'll talk about that on Monday. So there you go. I mean, there's a look at the entire Week 5 schedule from around the NFL. Hang out with us, because coming up, we're going to get to San Diego State, which is playing New Mexico, which honestly, I don't know that it would be that big of a deal. But the fact that Brady Hoke is the coach at San Diego State and Rocky Long went home to New Mexico, literally resigned his job as the head coach at San Diego State to go to New Mexico. And now these two teams face off. New Mexico's not very good, but San Diego State cannot trip in conference, especially because now that's all they've got left. They've already had their two biggest wins. So we're going to talk about this San Diego State game against New Mexico coming up. Plus, Alex will have the highlight of the day, man. And then later on tonight, Silver and Black tonight, LA Football Network, all coming up. Football Friday here on 1090. We're in the 7 Mile Casino Studios. Stay with us, everybody.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more.
Our massive signal covers an area where over 24 million people reside. So if you're listening or advertising on another station, we have only one question. Why? The new generation of radio, the all-new and mightier 1090.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community. Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on Your View or stream it online at yourview.com. Sponsored by The Barnes Firm, partnering with Shelter to Soldier and saving lives 2 at a time. Visit thebarnesfirm.com/shelter to soldier and help save more lives.
This year, Jobtoberfest is Wednesday, October 13th. It's the largest annual job fair in San Diego County for people with disabilities. CAES is one of our major sponsors.
CASE is excited to be a partner of this year's Jobtoberfest. At CASE, we believe that our people are our most important asset and value the talent that individuals with disabilities bring to our organization. Join our team and launch your career at CASE. Hope to see you there.
Nothing about the last year was normal, but you weathered it with grace, ingenuity, and creativity. In empty classrooms and full Zooms, you kept it together when we were apart. For all that you are, for all that you do, we salute you. Salute to Teachers is proudly sponsored by these charitable companies.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
Let's take a look at some high school football action going down tonight. Mission Hills is matching up with Rancho Bernardo. Last week, the Grizzlies got the win against Oceanside 31-13, while the Broncos got a dominating 60-7 win against Westview. Player to watch in this one, Rancho Bernardo senior running back Frankie Franchina has 883 rushing yards on 129 carries through 6 games. Scripps Ranch is taking on Morse. The Falcons are off to a 5-0 start, led by junior quarterback Jax Leatherwood, who has nearly 1,500 passing yards and 21 touchdowns on the year with no interceptions. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Your View.
Catch an all-new local show on the mightier 1090. Please join us every Thursday at 6 p.m. for the Charity Stripe, where you can get 3 out-of-the-box sports minds whose game is knowing yours. Only on a new generation of radio, the mightier 1090 AM, SoCal Sports Talk.
From fitness to medical technology, explore how people are leading healthier lives on Your Health. Join Erica Cardenas as she introduces you to health experts and discover how our daily choices affect our well-being. Plus, learn simple tips for healthier living. Your Health, Sunday at 4:30 p.m. on YourView and YourView.com. Brought to you by La Mesa Rehab, improving the lives of those afflicted by chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Learn more at LaMesaRehab.com.
Still on his feet, Jared Williams Swift is in the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcat.
He's at the 40. Is he going to go? Holds it in. What a catch. And return left sideline off to the races.
He flips the defenders into the end zone. He's got a man. Pass out. Wildcat. That was pretty.
Game Time High School Football on YourView is brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon. Live soccer is back. Watch Orange County Soccer Club, OC's highest level of professional soccer, live on YourView. Watch Orange County SC take on the Phoenix Rising FC Wednesday, October 13th at 7. Watch world-class players and future stars. Transform your summer with the new family game night and outdoor fun all season long. Live soccer is back. Orange County SC versus the Phoenix Rising FC Wednesday, October 13th at 7 on YourView.
At La Jolla Cosmetic, we try to help people achieve well-being, and we feel that it's not only important to look good, but also feel good inside. And honestly, what a better opportunity to help my community than being a supporter of an organization such as Las Patronas.
The mission of Las Patronas is to provide financial assistance to local nonprofits that are providing valuable community services in the areas of health, education, social services, and cultural arts. La Jolla Cosmetic has been one of our biggest supporters at Las Patronas, so we couldn't do what we do without their support.
You feel the need and you see the need because we go to visit each grant applicant.
Partnering with groups that are actually dedicated to help your community, it's the best thing that you can do as a responsible business.
Shelter to Soldier is 9 years young with a mission to save lives 2 at a time. We're adopting dogs from local shelters, training them for post-9/11 combat veterans, and we're able to donate these trained dogs to deserving veterans in need.
You know, I was in a very dark place. I was having suicidal thoughts, and I really needed an immediate help. We don't know if tomorrow is going to be there for us.
Shelter to Soldier is a nonprofit, and we're able to do the work that we do because of you, the community. Whether it's an individual donating $5 or whether it's a corporate donor like the Barnes firm that's supporting us in sponsoring multiple dogs that are going to make an impact in the veterans' lives in need.
Him by my side 24/7 has completely turned my life around. It's not just saving both of our lives, it has made an impact on myself, Nigel, my family, my work. So yes, they definitely have saved our lives.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and YourView, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more.
Save the Stork is an organization that equips pregnancy resource centers across the nation so that these pregnancy resource centers can reach more women facing unplanned pregnancies and provide them with holistic care, compassionate choices, and just an abundance of resources to support their decision to choose life. Save the Stork has been around for about 10 years. Most people know us by our Stork buses. A Stork bus is a mobile medical unit that's equipped with the state-of-the-art medical equipment as well as very knowledgeable and experienced medical professionals.
The buses enable them to reach areas where maybe there's not a pregnancy care center nearby. We are here to walk this journey with you so that you're not alone and to help you find your heart in all of this. And that means and that you're going to make a choice that is truly going to be something that years from now you're going to be proud of.
Attention, all dogs, cats, horses, tortoises, birds, pigs, and all other pets. Get your family members to sit, stay, and watch Animal Zone every Saturday at 9 p.m. right here on this channel and at animalzone.org.
Tune in Saturdays at 9 p.m. to watch Animal Zone right here on YearView.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.